Shabbat Shalom to all of you. This parasha is very important in the whole Torah scriptures because here is the basis of what I call it, the Israeli constitution and the constitution of the world too. In the scripture is described in very simple words, Aseret HaDevarim, the 10 words, and we have known now with the time through our traditions as the 10 Commandments. In chapter 20 we are going to see it. And you're going to be careful because there is a differentiation between how Judaism presents these 10 words or 10 commandments and how Christianity presents these 10 commandments or 10 words. They have changed not only how the commandments are, knowing the word, how they have subdivided. And they give you a different impression when you read it according to the way that they teach you. I always say we need to be faithful to the revelation of Sinai. And we need to be faithful to our Creator, the Borei Olam, who came to reveal to us His Word. How many times I have talked to you about divine revelations versus human revelation or human teachings? That's the reason that Jeremiah Hanavi, the prophet Jeremiah, told us that we do not need to trust in men. Why? Because men are flaky. But trust in the Creator. Trust in God. You're going to be blessed. And our heart is deceitful. This is the idea. The heart is in Judaism we have a term called kavanah, intention. And our intention is a flickery, like a candle that moves the one side to the other. And we need to be careful that we don't fall in that trap. The only who is always there, and not flickery, is our Creator. But we are humans, we have those changes. Then, when in this parasha, is the parasha that describes the receiving of the 10 Commandments, receiving the tablets, the luchot, the what we call it, the tablets of the 10 Commandments. And interestingly enough, the description is such that was written with the fingers of the Creator. This is a euphemism. This is only a way to express, the scripture has a lot of anthropomorphisms in order to give us ideas, but not necessarily you can apply literally. I shared with you last week about a mashal, a parable. And we need to treat it in this way. The Hebrew language is a language of pictures. It's a language that is not to try to define things, but describe things. And it's very different in our mentality to understand. Because anytime today, every person that we know in the Western civilization is always there, define me, define this. What do you trying to tell me? And every word has a meaning, and is a meaning that is so solidified that you cannot be flexible in the understanding. The only thing that was written on the rock by our Creator were the Aseret HaDevarim, the 10 words. Nothing else was written in the rock. Everything else comes after the 10 Commandments. And I know that many rabbis and many sages, they're going to tell you certain things too. Because in that desire to emphasize the Teriag, what is the Teriag? The Teriag are the 613 laws or mitzvot that our sages has compiled or has edited, that they have taken out from the whole Torah, and they say there are 613 mitzvot. Interestingly enough, you have heard this saying, to use 3 opinions, and believe me or not, there are still today discussions. There were 611, 612, 613, or 614, and they are still, they do not know exactly how many are. And depending which rabbi talks, you are going to have an answer. One thing that we are sure is there are 10 commandments. That nobody can change that. And those were given in the rock because they are the basis for everything. And this is what we need to understand. As a matter of introduction to this parasha, the question of the rabbis, they told, why these so important teachings, the so important portion in the Torah, has the name of a Gentile. No, why Yitro? Why? Why doesn't it have other names? And then there are different midrashim. And one of those about Moshe Rabbeinu, they're asking the question among the rabbis. And they say, why the Creator, is he brought these 10 words, 10 commandments from Sinai, God gave it to the people of Israel. Why he didn't do it in Har Moriah, in the mountain of Moriah, where is Jerusalem? Why he did it in Sinai? They call it also Har Elohim, the mountain of the Creator. And the answer of our sages is very interesting. And sometimes I wish that they follow the wonderful answer. The reason that these commandments were given in Har Sinai and were not given in Har Moriah is because the Creator wanted to make this Torah universal. If he did give it only in Jerusalem, will be only for the Jewish people. But in doing that, he explained the universality of these words for all humanity. Another question that comes from time to time, it is, that was the first time there was a revelation of these commandments, or was done before too? And the idea is this, our Creator, from the moment that he created us, human beings, and remember this, we are a creation of him. Many religions has created their own God. They have most of the religions are man-made, that they create their own gods. But here is different. It's God who created us to his likeness and image. And he gave us, he breathed upon us, and he gave us life. His breathing that comes from the idea of respirating, the ruach, the neshama, from nishma, to respirate. Here he introduced to us life. And introducing life, he put the Torah on us. But that the Torah was little by little, through the generations, we were forgetting. That is say that when we see in Bereshit, there comes a point that the people goes to idolatry and goes getting farther away from the Creator. Little by little, humanity was forgetting what the Creator was put inside them, and they start creating their own things. Why? Because one of the things that the Creator gave us, and this is important to understand, Bechira Hovshi, free will. He didn't make us, neither you or I, we are robots. He gave us intelligence, He gave us capability to think and to act. That is about kavanah, the intention. And he gave us a freedom for us to decide it. Our Creator doesn't demand on us loyalty. He demands us no loyalty, but he is there to receive it if it's willingly. He doesn't impose on anybody. You're going to see that most of these religions, especially, there are two major religions that have been terrible and very well known. One is Christianity and the other is Islam. Both of them, they have a tragic history, a bloody history. They both have imposed their beliefs in their gods by force, by killing, by destroying. The God of Israel doesn't do that. He presents himself. It's up to you to decide it. You know, if the Creator does that, why we as human beings, we are going to impose to others something? And this is why it's so important to understand in this parasha, why Yitro, no Israeli, a Jew, but a Gentile. Because the Creator is going to tell us that even the Gentiles have the right to have the Torah. And here comes Yeshua. We call it our Rabbi, we call it our Messiah. We call it the one that was chosen by the Creator, like the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen. Yeshua was chosen for a very special role. And this special role, he, in this so-called New Testament, I'm sorry they say so-called New Testament, because it's neither new and it's not a testament. but in these books called, and they have a Torah, they call it the Gospels, the good news, you know? Especially in the first one that they have in Christianity, called Matayahu, have a Torah, the Gospel of Matthew. You know, in chapter 5, there is a beautiful sermon, they call it the Sermon on the Mountain. And then in verses 17 to 21, you are going to see something interesting. How Yeshua presents himself. And this is something very, very Jewish, very Torah. And he say, basically, he didn't come to make a new Torah. He didn't came here to destroy the Torah. He didn't come to invent another Torah or to tell you what part of the Torah is good and what the part of the Torah is not good. He came for his people, that his people go back to Torah. Why? You see, something that we need to be clear is with the historical Yeshua, not with the theological Jesus. And this is the problem, that we are totally confused. Because most of us, if you are Jewish and you come from the Jewish background, we see a Jesus Christ. And of course, that is the God of the Gentiles. And that has nothing to do with us. And we don't have even the minor idea. To us, many times, it's a surprise. For many Gentiles, to think that Yeshua, they call it Jesus Christ, is a Jew. That's one of the greatest surprises of many people. Suddenly, you will be also surprised that lately, in the 21st century, especially in Israel, in the religious studies, in the University of Jerusalem and also in Tel Aviv, they are writing new books about Yeshua. And they are rediscovering who really Yeshua was as one of the greatest Jews that has existed in history. Literally, he changed history. But we need to see it in the real setting about, especially talking about the Torah. He came to say, I have not come to change it, I have not come to destroy it. I am coming to make it live. To live it. to be a Shomer Torah. You see? And to whom he was talking? To the Gentiles? To the Goyim? The Goyim had the minor idea what the Torah was at that time. They didn't understand the Ten Commandments. They had already gone away. But the Jewish people knew exactly what he was talking about. Then later on, he said to the Perushim, the Pharisees, the ultra-Orthodox, the Sadducees, the Sadducees, they tell the Kohanim, the what I would call it, the aristocracy of Judaism. He tells them, you know what? You have made a lot of your own mesoras, traditions. And your traditions has invalidated the word of the Torah. In other words, your tradition has become more important or has more value for you than the direct word of the Creator that has given through Moshe Rabbeinu and Har Sinai. Why do you think that we are so confused today? If we are going to point fingers to blame somebody, you know what was the reason in here, in this parasha? It's calling Israel to be a holy nation, a nation of priests. They are going to be the supervisors. They are going to be the ones that are in charge of the Torah. Why? To be or legoyim, to be light to the world. And what Israel has done? Instead to be or legoyim, they decided to hide the Torah from the goyim. Yeshua did exactly the opposite with his service to Israel. Because of him, the Torah right now is universal. The problem is when fall in the hands of the Gentiles, because they didn't understood, they didn't know, they didn't have the teacher that they needed to have. Or they didn't want to have the teachers. They did totally their own things. They practice what I call a syncretism. That is a philosophical idea, a lot of Greek. Syncretism means to put everything together. I take a little bit of this religion, I take a little bit of this religion, I put it in a bowl, I shake it very well, I make a menjunje, you know, I make a soup or whatever, and then I throw it away and say, this is. And you have a little bit of there, a little bit of here, a little bit of the other way. Israel, the Jewish people, what they did, they hide themselves. And instead to tell them, you know what? That's not what a really Judaism, that's not what the Torah is. They shut their mouth and they went to the other side and they were persecuted because they little by little, this new religion trying to destroy the Jewish nation, the Jewish people. And believe me or not, I know that people don't like to hear this, but Christianity at the beginning was the most anti-Semitic religion in the world. They persecuted and they killed more Jews than any other religion. You don't want to know this, but this is facts. You know, talk about Chrysostomos, talk about Irenaeus, talk about all the great fathers of the church. Talk about those that they had spoken against Judaism. When they call it the Jews are children of Satan. And you are, and sometimes people are surprised about the Shoah that we just celebrated the remembrance of, not celebrated, we remember. You cannot celebrate that. The remembrance of the Shoah, the Holocaust. In which countries the Shoah happened? Think about that. Christian countries. That didn't happen in Islam countries, Christian countries. Still, Christianity needs to ask a lot of forgiveness. They need to do a lot of repentance for what they have done. Their hands are tainted with blood. But I didn't come to tell you that. I came to tell you about Yeshua. Why he came? He came, as he said exactly in chapter 5, verses 17 to 21 of the Matthew Habesorah, the Gospel of Matthew. He came to bring back the Torah, which is one of the greatest rule among all the sages, what the Messiah was going to come to do. To bring us back to Torah. And why Yeshua needed to bring back to Torah? Because our people was away from the Torah. They preferred the Shear, the Torah that was passed by oral Torah, they call it. The sages start having more power than the Torah itself. Sometimes we Jewish people complain about Christianity that they have made their own writing, like the so-called New Testament, that the New Testament has totally erased or reinterpreted the Tanakh, what they call it, the Old Testament, in the way that they wanted to interpret it. When we, the Jewish people, through our own tales, we have reinterpreted the Torah in our own way. Then let's not point fingers to anybody. Instead to point fingers, let's come back together. Let's reason together. And let's look for the light from divine revelation that the Creator has given to all of us. Because I believe that each one of you has a spark from Him. And you can have a relationship. But you need to forget about what others say. Go back to the scriptures. Go back to what the Torah is telling you, not what men are telling you. I'm trying to see it for today. Because even the word Torah, how many times I have been asking people to erase the name Torah in the translation that we do in the Greek and in our own languages. And we say Torah equal law. And the Torah has nothing to do with the law. The Torah, what it means, the Torah is instructions, teachings, guidance, principles. Has nothing to do with imposing. When Yeshua was asked, Master, Rabbi, how can you reduce the whole Torah in a simple way? And he said these words: you shall love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole Torah. What he was describing there? The 10 Commandments, the 10 words. You shall love God with all yourself. The 3 first commandments. I am the God who brought you out of Egypt. Historical God that participates with his people, and introduce himself with his people. The second, you shall not make other gods. You shall not bow yourself. There is only one God. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. There is only one God. Not two gods, not three gods. No a big God, a little God. No the Father and the Son, as many people teach. No the Father and the Prophet. Only one God. Then don't do idolatry. What is idolatry? Idolatry is adultery. It's to change the truth for something false. Something that you say that looks alike, but they are not the same. You know, you go to a cow and you take the milk of the cow, and you know, and then you get a glass and you put a little bit of milk and a little bit of water. You look at both of them, they look identical. Looks the same. But the one that has water has been adulterated. It's not any longer the same. There's the same thing about the relationship with the Creator. Cannot be adulterated. We cannot put more than what He says. This, and then the last one says, you shall not use my name in anything. We translate it in vain. But really, you shall not lie on my name. You shall not use my name for something that is not right. That doesn't say that you cannot pronounce His name, as our Savior has told us lately. No, you can pronounce His name. But what the problem is, you cannot misuse it or abuse it. You need to have reverence over Him. And these three first are a relationship with the Creator, and we call it mitzvot, the commandments. Then come the fourth and the fifth that you have heard over and over again. Sometimes it's so difficult to understand. The fourth is the Shabbat, and the fifth is honor your father and your mother. No, you ask yourself, what is the relationship? This is a relationship with me, with myself. It's for me. The Shabbat, what? Let me ask you this question. The Creator gave us the Shabbat for us to go and to worship Him. The Creator gave us the Shabbat because He was too tired and He couldn't listen to us on Shabbat. You see, the Shabbat was only and exclusively given to us for our good. And what Shabbat means in a very simple way. All during the week you are with your own business, you are heavy, whatever you do. But on Shabbat, you release. It's like you need to empty your mind of your busy days, your worries, and everything else. You leave it behind. Because on Shabbat, you rest. That necessarily means that you worship God on Shabbat. Because worshiping God is every day, every moment. Especially if you are a Shomer Torah. Because you live the Torah with you. And that's exactly personal relationship. The next thing, okay, is honor your father and your mother. You know, certain people do not understand this honor father and mother. But we need to understand it for this, because sometimes, and I am sure, even I have talked with some of you, that you have had a very difficult upbringing. Some of you have told me a very hard situation with your own parents. Some of you maybe don't even want to mention the name of your parents for what they did to you or what they didn't do for you. But you know what? They gave you life. That already, you need to be grateful. You know, because that is an indication of the relationship with the Creator, the giver of life. And He used your parent to give you life. You and I, we do not have any right to judge our parents. It's the Creator who does it. But we have the right. We have we need to honor them because they gave us life, even if we are not totally happy with that. The rest we leave it to our parent, to our Creator. But also, the parents is an idea about continuity. And we need to understand this in this way. Because you're going to see that when you don't keep the Shabbat and you don't do this, it's going to be the third and fourth generation. And then after that, God is going to punish you. But then after that, you are going to, God is more faithful until 1,000 generations. And we need to understand this. Sometimes we don't see it. But how many of us, we are able to know our third generation? But there, some of you, maybe you have known your great-grandparents, no? The first generation, second generation, your parents, third generation, your grandparents. The fourth generation, your great-great-grandparents, it's too much. But there are some that maybe can meet. But who can meet the fifth generation? Then to the third, fourth generation, what happened? Little by little, you are getting away from your background. And you have, in that period of time, you have the time to make it right. But if you don't make it right, you're going to suffer the consequences. But our Creator has a great love that lasts for 1,000 generations. And what it means, 1,000 generations, in the gematria, in the understanding of the biblical language, forever. For God, there is never a time. He's always ready there. Next comes the 5 last commandments. And we call it the mishpatim. We have the mitzvot, the hukim, or the hok, the ordinances, that are the two ones, Shabbat and the Father, and then the mishpatim, the judgments. And this is a relationship with our neighbors. And that is very important. That's saying that my rights ended where the rights of somebody else begins. To have a harmonious relationship in this world, we need to learn to respect each other. When we do not respect each other, that's when the troubles comes. You see, there are many people that are religious and they're fanatics. And they think, because in the scriptures say one thing, I need to enforce those things. The Creator didn't call us to be policemen of the world. Neither the Creator called us to be the ones that we are going to supervise morality. What the Creator called us is to be an example of morality. What the Creator called us was to be or legoyim. That's what Israel needed to be. And anybody who has been called to be part of Israel, that's what it needs to be, or legoyim. Lie to the others. And how are you lied to others? We teach sometimes in certain groups, they teach that the only thing that you need to do is to convince somebody. Try, you use your salesman skills. You tell them how much your religion can offer to them. You sell your religion. The Creator doesn't need to be sold. You see, the Creator is there. What the people need to see, that there is a reality between you and the Creator. They need to make their own decisions. There are people that almost they put you a pistol in the head. There are religions, like Islam, for example, today, that you need to convert, and if you don't convert, they kill you. That's the religion of love. They love you so much that they kill you. This is the problem with fanatism. This is the problem with thinking that your religion is better than the others. There is only one God. Blessed be his name. And there is no other beside him. When Yitro acknowledged the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as the true Gadol Elohim, the great God, greater than any other gods. You know, sometimes there is a question there, did he really accept it as the only one? Or he accepted among the all gods as the head of the gods? In Psalm 135, we have something similar, Yitro, and say exactly almost the same word. You are greater than any other God. If he's admitting the psalmist that there are other gods? No. What he's telling is, you cannot replace him with anything else. According to their sages, Yitro was the first convert that existed in the Torah. Because after the exit of Egypt, he converted outside Egypt. Whatever it is and whatever we wanted to take it and we want to teach, what is important to see here, to put it together what I am trying to tell you. The Torah is universal. It's not only for the Jewish people. The Torah will be the doctrine, will be the, not doctrine, but will be the constitution of the world. If the United Nations will have the Torah, only the 10 Commandments, that will be more than enough. And that will have a good United Nations. The Torah is for everyone. But you cannot impose the Torah. And this is the problem with many of the people. They're trying to push you to believe on something. And each one of us needs to have a relationship with the Creator. Blessed be his name. Secondly, Yeshua, our Messiah. I call it our Messiah. He came for a reason. Not for the reason that other religions speak about him, but for one reason, to bring his people back to Torah, in order that the people of Israel will take the role that had been given from the beginning, to be the holy people, to be the priests of the holy nation, to be Or Legoyim, to be light to the world. Let me ask you this question. Is Israel doing that right now? And it's a question mark here. Sadly enough, in modern Judaism, they are teaching some of the rabbis that the Torah is only for them, not for the Gentiles. And sadly enough, the other religion teach you exactly the same thing. Not only that, but they teach you that if you follow Torah, you are cursed. Can you believe that? That the Creator is going to give you something to be cursed. And there are people who believe it. The brainwash has been done in such a way that right now nobody knows what to believe. And they go from this side to the other side. You know what they call it? The market of ideas. And they take religions. And then they start to examine different religions. And what they say is, which one offers me better? Like I am going to buy something, no? Oh, the religion offer me free life if I accepted them. Oh, the religion offer me this, and the religion offer me that. And one of the most popular religions are the religion that say to you, don't worry, somebody else pay for you. All your sin has been paid for. You don't need to worry about it. When the Creator, the first thing that He gave us was responsibility. Each one of us, we are responsible for our own acts. We cannot point the finger to others. That's what Yeshua says. Don't point the finger into your neighbor with a little thing, but look at the big log that you have in your own eyes. Don't jump on others when you don't look at yourself. Then, what really is the Torah? The Torah is 1,000 laws, do's and don'ts, or it's a way of life? Where the Torah that the Creator gave us is a way of life. Where we need to walk on those things, and every time that we walk with the Torah, we are shining, and we are light to others. Not with words, but by deeds indeed. And Judaism is one of the greatest ways, because to us it's not about doing religion, but it's about doing for others, working with others, acting, not waiting, acting. Last week I told you that you don't need to wait, you need to act. Other religions, they teach you, wait for God. But what the Creator teach you? Do it, act, work, jump in the water, cross the Red Sea. I won't take you, you need to cross. I'm going to do what is difficult for you or impossible, but you need to do the rest. Let me finish. We have heard about the 10 words. Eseret HaDevarim, the 10 Commandments. The whole constitution of Israel for me, simple way. Everything after came that Moses brought needed to be looked through the lights of the 10 Commandments, through the principle of the 10 Commandments. But another thing that is very important, that is important that you understand, and we understand. The Torah is not the production of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't write the 10 Commandments. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't make the 10 Commandments. Moshe Rabbeinu received the 10 Commandments and passed it to the people. Because there are religions that they teach, and they say, the law of Moses, or Moses wrote this. Because of the hardness of your heart, Moses wrote this. But not Moses. That they tell you in simple words that sometimes there are things that other people say in their books, in the literature, they don't come from the Word of God, come from the Word of men. And we need to differentiate divine revelation versus men's ideas and theological statements. Who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe men, or are you going to believe the Creator? I leave you to you that question. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Shalom.